Bienvenidos to Migration Science and Mystery. My name is Jico Vega and I work for ProNatura Noroeste in the state of Sinaloa, Mexico. Thanking you for joining us today in this distant learning adventure. Students from the US, Mexico, and Central America are tuning in today to see you this special program about Santa Maria Bay. We welcome you all. I'm coming to you live right now from Bahia Santa Maria in the state of Sinaloa, Mexico. We would like to thank our sponsors, the U.S. Forest Service, the National Audubon Society, Prince William Network. Here in Sinaloa, we would like to thank the Grupo Coppel, Casa Ley, the government of the state of Sinaloa, Codecin, and Televisoras Grupo Pacifico for making possible this project. Today, we will learn about the importance of this wetland in the state of Sinaloa for migratory shorebirds, and also we will learn about the food supply that we have in this area. Migration Science and Mystery is a program that is been following the migration of shorebirds from Panama to Alaska, and these birds can make a trip for about 6,500 miles, or the equivalent of 10,000 kilometers. Of course, these birds can make the trip twice a year. Remember, it is very important for us that you can send us emails, and if you can see it through this our web page that we have on the screen right now, we have also toll-free numbers so you can call us and make sure that you enjoy this program. The Bahia Santa Maria is very important for shorebirds, and we have a special report for you right now. Santa Maria Bay is located in the central region of the state of Sinaloa, Mexico. It is a coastal lagoon important to local fishermen. More than 3 million tons of marine products are harvested annually. Additionally, the bay's importance is recognized internationally as one of the most critical sites in northwest Mexico for stopover and wintering for shorebirds during their biannual migration from the Arctic to Central America. The bay is located in the southern part of the Gulf of California, and it has a tributary, the Mocorito River. It is considered one of the most important wetlands in the state of Sinaloa for its vast expanse of more than 135,000 acres. Santa Maria Bay biological importance is recognized, along with 8 other coastal sites in the Gulf of California, to be among the 32 priority wetlands in all Mexico. Santa Maria Bay has 10 islands. One of the most important is Altamura Island, with an extension of more than 110 miles of sandy beaches. The islands allows the entrance of ocean water at both ends, La Risión and Punta Yameto. The second island in importance is Talchichilte, with a length 40 miles, formed by red soils. Another important island for birds is Pájaro Island, which is covered with mangroves. It is this island that is considered as the most important site for breeding colonial water birds, especially frigate birds, brown pelicans, cormorants, and different types of egrets. During the breeding season, you can see thousands of birds nesting in the mangroves. Among the different islands in the bay, El Rancho Island is one of the most important for ground nesting colonial water birds. Historically, numerous birds have nested here. Some of them are blue-footed boobies, royal terns, black skimmers, and laughing gulls. In just a few years, conservation activities, including research and outreach, have helped to increase the numbers of breeding birds. Its importance as habitat for shorebirds has been recognized by its being designated as an hemispheric site for the Western Hemisphere Shorebird Research Network in 2000. The biological richness of El Rancho site is also important to the local economy. For example, an average of 2 tons of shrimps are captured per year. There are also other marine species captured, including crab, fish, and sharks. Santa Maria Bay is one of the most rich and clean coastal lagoons in Mexico. Coastal littoral of the bays sustain different types of vegetation, including shrubs, desert plants, and grass. But it is the mangrove forest, red, white, black, and the botoncillo, that provides the greatest significance for their benefits to the local economy, as well as the birds. There are 2 predominant areas of mangroves. At Playa Colorada, to the north, there is a mangrove forest of over 16,000 acres. In the southern end of the bay, the mangrove forest extends over a surface of area of more than 24,000 acres. The coastal littoral of the bay is over 128 miles long, greater portion in the municipality of Angostura and the remainder in the municipality of Navolato. More than 190,000 local inhabitants in these 2 municipalities. The most important economic activities is agriculture, followed closely by fisheries. The bay obtains most of its nutrients from rainfall and runoff waters from the agricultural fields. Soil and nutrients form a muddy subsurface, rich in decaying material, and the tidal influence facilitates growth of microorganisms that sustains the food supplies for shorebirds. Today, Santa Maria Bay is the most important site for shrimp harvesting in Sinaloa, and it is a beautiful area to promote ecotourism activities, but it is simultaneously the most important and critical site for migratory in northwest Mexico. With all of its merit, it is the most significant wetland in Sinaloa. And in a close place nearby here, we have our good friend, a shorebird biologist, Marco Antonio Gonzalez, with some of the kids looking at some of the shorebirds that we have in the bay today. Marcos, what do you have there? ¿Qué tienes hoy, Marcos?
Me cortó el show. Sí, ok. Ok. La cámara.
¿Me escuchas, Marcos? Do you hear me, Marcos?
Y... Ok, aquí en Bahía Santa María, en coordinación con un grupo de niños de las escuelas que aquí nos acompañan, estamos haciendo la observación de las aves migratorias. Esta parte de la bahía es uno de los lugares más importantes, ya que muchas de las aves que aquí habitan o vienen a invernar es su principal sitio de alimentación. Entre las aves más destacadas, más importantes, tenemos cortadores, gaviotas, chorlitos, playeros y otras aves también de interés que, aunque no son migratorias, pero que se encuentran en esta región cohabitando con el resto de las especies migratorias. Muchas de las especies que aquí habitan vienen desde Alaska, Canadá y Estados Unidos.
Okay, gracias, Marcos. Thanks, Marcos, for your support. And then in another part also, we have Citlali and Marcela Ley with some of the kids that are looking for the food supplies for the shorebirds in this area. Marcela, Citla, can you guys tell me something, please?
Hi, Hiko. We're here at this other side of the bay with the biologist Citlali, and she's going to explain to us what she's doing here on the field with the kids. What are you doing here, Citlali? ¿Qué haces aquí?
Nos encontramos aquí en el humedal, donde los niños están realizando sus muestros de campo, reafirmando así lo aprendido en el aula.
Well, we're here at the wetland, and these kids are doing some field work, and they're just practicing what they have learned in the classroom, right, Citlali?
Por aquí tenemos a los que buscan las muestras de alimento en el lodo. Vamos a preguntar qué están haciendo.
So here we have the kids that are looking food inside the mud. So we're going to ask them, what are they doing?
¿Qué han encontrado en el lodo?
What have you found?
Pues hemos encontrado algunos gusanitos moviéndose en el lodo, caracolitos y pequeños restos de plantas.
We have found some worms that are moving around the mud. And what else? ¿Qué más has encontrado aparte de los gusanitos?
Caracolitos y algunos pequeños restos de plantas.
Some snails and a small rest of plants.
Bueno, también tenemos a los que están buscando huellas de aves que se encuentran alimentándose ahorita en el humedal. Aquí las niñas tienen unas huellas. ¿Qué tipo de huellas han encontrado?
Well, here there's another group of children. They're doing prints of the shorebird. So what kind of prints have we found here?
Pues las pequeñas son de chorlitos y playeritos. Las medianas son de tringas y ostreros. Y hay algunas grandes que no son de aves playeras, sino de algunas garzas que también se alimentan en la zona.
Well, the small ones are plovers and sandpipers, and the medium size are oyster catchers. And there are some large ones, shorebirds, but they're egrets.
Bueno, estas son las actividades que realizamos en campo con los niños.
Well, this is all we have done right now in the field work with the children.
Bueno, entonces volvamos con Hiko.
So now we're going back to you, Hiko.
Thank you, Marcela and Citlali. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we will have, remember that this is a live program, and soon we will start taking emails, questions, and phone calls. So please call us and send emails to us today. And the phone numbers, all the information should be on the screen right now. Remember, this is a live program. And now we're going to turn to my good friend, Dr. Eduardo Palacios, that is taking all the questions, and he has all the answers for you today. Eduardo, how are we doing with all those questions and emails there?
Sure, Hiko. We have had a lot of questions from the same school in Texas. I'm going to read and answer one of them from Barbara Bush Elementary School from Carla Lopez. She She's asking about how many different species of birds are there, and how do we know? And the answer is there are around 8,600 species of birds in the world, of which 1,100 species are in Mexico. The diversity of species decreased from the equator to the poles. So in Mexico, there are a little bit more species than in United States and then more than in Canada. How do we know? We use field guide, scopes, and binoculars to tell them apart based on key points to distinguish each other. We have had also a question about what kind of adaptations they have to conduct this long migration, because some of them can migrate up to 6,500 miles from the Bay of Panama to the Copper River Delta. And the answer is that they have a special respiratory system where they use air sacs to hyperventilate and help the lungs to get all the oxygen that they need in order to conduct this high metabolism when they are flying. Also, they have their bones are very light in weight, but at the same time provide the surface for the muscles, like the pectoral muscle, that are in charge of the wing beat and fly. That are very strong. Also, their build is a specialization that they use mostly to feed on invertebrates on the mudflats. We have another question. Let me see. If there's one from Ana Sanchez from the same Barbara Bush Elementary in Texas. And the question is, if these birds are used to the warm areas in South America, how do they survive in colder places like Alaska? And the answer is they fly to Alaska during summer and have little time window to breathe. They are also able to regulate their body temperature.
How are we doing in time?
Another question from Juana Hernandez. How do we tell apart different species of birds, and what do they do in each staggering site? The answer is we use field guides that show key points to identify each species. And what do? They mostly feed on the mudflats of each site where they stop. They need to rest also and refuel to continue their long migration going north to the breeding grounds. And they also, when there are high tides, they cannot feed on the mudflats, so they keep preening and taking care of their plumage. Another question from Ana Jaime from Texas. Tell me some interesting facts about migration. Well, I can tell you, Ana, that and all the students that are watching us, the Western Sandpiper, for instance, flies more than 6,500 miles from the Bay of Panama to the Copper River Delta, where they stop and feed before getting to the breeding grounds in northern and western Alaska. Also, they stage and fly in spectacular flocks of more than 10,000 birds in one single site. The largest population has been seen in one day is more than 2 million birds in one single day in the Copper River Delta.
Are you hearing the program okay?
I don't know if I have more time to read more questions. We are receiving here more questions from Rebecca Jaime from Texas. How do the birds know that they need to go to these places? Well, migration has been always an enigma for scientists. But basically, there are two components of migration. One is they are genetically programmed to conduct their migration every year, and also they learn from others of the same species, and also they learn about their features and landmarks, topographic landmarks that there are along their route, especially when they are closer to their natal or breeding grounds. Another from Alexis Arroyo. Can there be accidents along the way? I would say yes,
Yeah.
but there are predators along the migration route that are way more important than accidents along the migration. Red foxes, peregrine falcon, merlins are always waiting for them. And especially when they are resting during high tide, they are the prey for these predators. Another question from Uciel Olvera. If they go to the cold, will they get sick? The answer is that yes, winter and storm can kill the birds, even though they are able to regulate their body temperature. Another question, what type of equipment is required to keep track of the birds? And what information do scientists collect on these birds? This question is from Javier Ansure. The type of equipment that scientists use are scopes, binoculars, field notes, nets to capture the birds and put bands on them to know their habits and migration routes, age, breeding grounds, etc. And the data that we keep track of to study these birds are the day, the number of birds in each site. When the scientists put radios on them, they use also antennas and receivers to keep track of their movements, either local movement in the same site or also long distance movements along their Pacific Flyway. We have more questions, but we invite all the students to either to call the 1-800 number that is or should be in the screen, or by email. We are answering also through email, and we'll continue after this program answering questions via email. Hico, that's our report from here. Go ahead.
Gracias, Eduardo. Gracias, Eduardo. Thank you for all this. Do you know how many phone calls do we have today? I mean, we would like to have more phone calls. Or send emails. I mean, we can continue to answer your emails, and we would like to let you know this bay is very important for birds, and this is it's a critical wetland here in the Pacific coast, and the more that we know about shorebirds, the more that we can conserve them. So please make phone calls and send emails to us, and use the web site to help us to spread the word about the shorebird conservation. Okay, gracias. Unfortunately, we run out of time, and we hope that you have enjoyed your visit with us today to the Bay of Santa Maria, Sinaloa in Mexico. And today we learned about the importance of this place for shorebirds, and we also learned about the food that this bird can eat in this place. And for now, we would like to thank all the students who help us from Angostura and Navolato, and we also would like to thank the students and teachers who tune into this program and for all these questions. And I encourage you to use this website. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors, the U.S. Forest Service, the National Audubon Society, Prince William Network, ProNatura here in Sinaloa, Televisoras Grupo Pacífico, Coppel, Casa Ley, the government of Sinaloa. And remember that we have a next stop in San Francisco with a live webcast on April 19. So make sure that you continue with us in this journey, Migration, Science, and Mystery. And with this, we conclude our program in English. But we would like to invite you to stay tuned here for a special program that we had for you for my state, the state of Sinaloa, a 30-minute program. And then we will continue with a joint live electronic field trip in Español, in Spanish. So thank you for being with us today, and adios. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a big mudflat, and this is a small area for shorebirds. There are some other places south of this place where you can see thousands of shorebirds during this time of the years. And we just had a phone call from a friend of us that is doing some radio telemetry studies in Mazatlan, south of here. And they told us that the birds from Panama, they're already here because they're doing some radio telemetry studies. So this is, as you can see, birds can connect from Panama to Santa Maria Bay, and then they fly from here to other parts of the Pacific Flyway in San Francisco, and then they fly to Vancouver. So again, I really appreciate all the time that you spent, this time that you spent with us, and I will see you in the next day. Adios.